Damon, people need to be underground on this tornado.
On the 20th of May 2013, a massive mile-wide tornado plowed across Oklahoma, USA.
Oh my God!
Storm chasers tracked the deadly storm as it tore a community apart. I've come to the Midwest of America to report on one of the most destructive tornadoes in history.
This is the kind of thing that I've only seen, like many of you, on television screens. In amongst the debris, you see personal belongings, people's clothes, their ornaments, which kind of tell a story about them. Did they get out in time? Did they survive?
Mid-afternoon near Oklahoma City, retired school teacher Charles Cook has been testing a new camera by taking video of gathering storm clouds.
I was going down this highway, Highway 37, from west to east, and I started seeing the lowering off in the south. I saw what looked to me like a wall cloud.
Charles was about to capture a fascinating weather phenomenon rarely seen in such detail before.
I started seeing it just whirl up. Well, about that time, on this side of the hill, it hit some debris, enough to bring up some black into it, and it just sort of went up in the air and disappeared. And again, the phone was invisible for a little while. But this one dipped down 2 or 3 times. And the last time that it down and went all the way to the ground, and the bottom which had been going all over the place, got stationary.
Spin, and it's getting faster and faster. That is a tornado.
It looked like it's coming right at me. And I'm saying, I don't need to be under these power lines right now. So I went across the parking lot to get some distance away from the power lines and turned around, and I was just amazed at how big it had gotten. And then as it twirls and swirls and the debris ball keeps getting larger and larger, I look up and it's right above me.
Also monitoring the touchdown on radar screens were scientists from the National Severe Storms Laboratory. They immediately knew this had the potential to be a killer.
Again, you can see this right here. This is going to be near. Look at that tornado.
By now, the vast rotating column was attracting tornado storm chasers from all over Oklahoma.
Chance Cold Iron, you're live on the phone right now. Go ahead and go.
Damon, this tornado's turned into a violent stovepipe. It just hit a house, so we've got debris flying everywhere. It was a 1/4 mile wide, and then it went into a mile wide. Damon, this thing is mean.
Chance, go ahead and go. What do you think?
Damon, people need to be underground on this tornado. We have large chunks of debris.
By 3 o'clock, the tornado was in open countryside, 4.4 miles from the town of Moore. It grew in size and speed of rotation every minute, but had not yet hit any built-up areas. Chaser sightings are fed back to TV weatherman Gary England.
Get in a safe room, a low-ground shelter.
His broadcast warnings are a vital cog in Oklahoma's tornado warning system. Now joining the pursuit was a veteran of 100 chases, over 25,000 miles, Ben Holcomb.
The motion was insane. The motion was violent. The whole atmosphere was spinning. I've never seen a tornado do that. This was by far the worst tornado I've ever seen.
The danger was not only the wind speed, but also the accompanying hail of bricks, planks, cars, concrete blocks, and deadly debris flying through the air. It makes storm chasing a dangerous profession, even for experienced operators like expat British chaser James Menzies.
Oh my God, no. Oh my God!
It started churning across this area, and then all the wind started sucking into the tornado, and I thought, this thing is obviously shifting its track, it's going to come at me a little bit.
Holy!
My car was shaking, it was rocking from side to side, it was kind of bouncing up and down as the wind was cutting under and over it. And it was at that point I realized that the wind was really picking up. The tornado must be moving, and I needed to really sort of get away from it and keep away from any flying debris.
James's passion for tornadoes led him to move to Oklahoma where he can film them up close. Sometimes, as this footage reveals, a little too close for comfort.
Yeah, this was a wide tornado right there. That's about probably a quarter of a mile and a half mile wide right there.
It looks like at this stage they come right towards you, and this gas station just here is going to get ripped apart.
It looks like it, but you know, I could tell immediately by looking at it that the motion on it was moving off to the right. So, and it was taking a direct easterly track.
The life-threatening scale of the May tornado had left James in shock.
You know, I was upset. You know, I was distraught because people were losing their lives, no matter what I was doing to help. And you know, it's something you've got to try and keep your emotions aside. And okay, you're looking at me now. I'm actually going to start. You know, it's a pretty hard thing to see. I mean, I've seen a lot of tornadoes, but when you're actually staring at one and you know there's people dying in front of you, it's a big difference. You know, it's a lot harder to deal with.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen tornadoes out in the plains. You know, they're a beautiful thing to see. But like Monday, they have a dark side, and a dark side came to more, unfortunately. And I had to deal with it, you know.
The macho world of storm chasing is not always as hard-nosed as it appears.
Oh, jeez.
2 local Oklahoman chasers were also affected by the power and peril of the storm.
As we were getting closer and it came into view, I think for both of us, when we both saw it, we knew that this was going to be a significant tornado.
Oh God, Dave, it's going to go through populated areas.
We knew exactly where it was headed, and that was nowhere good as far as population impacts go. Yeah, it was a horrifying feeling.
Dave, this is a bad tornado. This is bad.
Oh my
God, we can't do this because there's no east options that's coming towards us.
The noise, the sound of the tornado was something that I'll never forget. It may be one of my strongest memories of it. I have never heard the kind of roaring, growling almost sound that it was producing as we were so close to it. We could hear it so well. It was just reverberating. It was like the earth was shaking.
Okay, I'm getting out.
Listen to it.
Yes!
You could feel it.
Feel the tornado being, even a mile away, we could feel it, but it was horrifying and frankly pretty awesome at the same time. It was an overwhelming experience.
Oh God, there's so much debris in the air!
There was a lot of debris actually landing on our vehicle, and some of it was blowing in the windows and just insulation and that kind of thing. But we were concerned about larger debris, and in an ideal situation, we wouldn't have been quite that close.
Oh, it hit something huge!
Everyone now following the track of the tornado could only look on in horror as the storm swept into the outskirts of Moore.
This tornado, we knew there was going to be deaths and more. We just didn't know how many.
The city's 59,000 residents now face the destructive force to rival an atomic bomb.
Oh, those are cars! Oh my gosh, those are cars!
This is a tornado emergency. This is higher than a tornado warning. If you are not underground on the path of this storm, you are endangering your life.
Chance Cold Iron's live reports to the TV and radio stations were becoming even more urgent.
I think I've seen 2 cars get picked up off the bridge and thrown in the air. This thing is violent.
It is on the river right now.
Analysis of the damage has shown that the winds exceeded 200 miles per hour, fatal to anyone not in a shelter or hiding underground.
Oh my gosh.
The massive debris storm swirling around the core of the tornado was 1.3 miles wide. Discretion was proving the better part of valor for even the most hardened of chasers.
We're getting super comfort.
Okay, turn around, turn around.
Dude, we need to go. I am trying. There's a car coming now. Don't stop. Holy shit, lots of debris. Lots of debris. Go, 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 go.
I didn't really have a good adrenaline rush here when I was filming this tornado. It was more of a somber mood in the car and actually really a stressful mood in the car.
Go! Yes, I gotta slow down for the light. Go, 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 go. We gotta go.
We were kind of yelling at each other. I mean, just the stress from possibly dying.
It's huge. It's a huge fast stovepipe. Yep. Flip around, flip around. It's huge.
By 3:10, storm chasers David Demko and Heidi Farrar were just a mile away from the tornado to the south of Moore. They too were now questioning the wisdom of getting any closer.
Oh my God, we're getting hit with the breeze. I know. Wait, go up here and then stop for a little bit. Take it. I don't know what to do.
Just take it.
I'm sorry, I am.
This is the most violent tornado I've ever seen by far.
What is that person doing?
You got it?
Yes. Oh my God, it just hit somebody's house. There's a house spinning around in the air. Get out of here!
The super tornado falls towards the densely populated suburbs of Moore City.
It's just to the west and it's doing damage, major damage.
As it ripped through street after street on the outskirts of town, it was heading straight towards two teenagers capturing the site on their smartphones.
We could see it, football field away, and we saw the houses get picked up by the tornado. At that moment, we realized our lives were in danger.
Chucky, come on, let's go, bro. Yeah, I see debris. Let's go.
The lads leapt into Alex's storm shelter on filming.
We decided to take out our phones and stick them through the vent holes of our storm shelter, and then we proceeded to record.
It was just terrifying. There was a lot of fear.
It sounded like a really large train just busting through everything. You could hear debris flying everywhere, you know, house leveled. There's tires flying, pieces of sheet metal were going through houses.
You could definitely feel the suction as it started to get closer. It was really nothing to mess around with.
A few streets away were storm chasers Heidi Farrar and David Demko.
There's debris falling from behind us.
I know. It's just getting spun around the back of the circulation. Can you see that still?
Yes, I have it.
We felt very helpless seeing the tornado go through Moore. We have friends who live there. We know people who were very close to the path, and it put us into a lot of conflict.
Oh God, Dave. I'm sorry. Personally, that was the first time I had ever experienced seeing a tornado hitting something and seeing debris falling from the sky, and it was very emotional. That's not something you ever want to see, and knowing the area as we do, just being from down the road in Norman, we know the places that it was hitting. We have friends whose homes were being potentially impacted. Knowing that you can do nothing to stop it
makes you sick.
It makes you sick, yeah. It's so big I can't fit the whole thing in my viewfinder. There's debris everywhere. People are dying.
The tornado had reached the center of Moore. David and Heidi had been overwhelmed by the experience.
Even though it's in Moore,
I think we have to
go south.
I think we have to drop it.
Go south. It's fine with me. It's fine with me. There was still a tornado in progress, and we abandoned it. It just didn't feel right.
The storm was now carving its way through the city at around 20 miles an hour. At Briarwood Elementary School, children and staff had nowhere to run. There was no underground shelter.
Listen!
Terrified children hid in the school toilets. One of their teachers switched on her camera phone.
Okay.
The power went out, and I thought that's going to scare the children.
Calm down!
I said, it's okay. That means it could have just hit something miles away.
Crowded together in the dark, panic was rising.
Listen!
The terrifying noise of the storm was getting louder.
We could hear it coming.
At 3:16 p.m., the tornado struck Briarwood.
You just were holding on for dear life. I feel like lost control in that moment. And then I tried to regain it because as a teacher, you're not supposed to lose control in front of your children.
Jackie, Benji, look.
8 boys were cowering in another of the school toilets. A parent was trying to help them.
Mom's asking if I'm with you.
I really do.
We're with everybody.
The boys were real brave. You can hear it coming. It sounded like a freight train, and I was trying to get everybody to calm down. Everybody, please calm down.
But it's hard to keep calm when tornado wind is blasting the walls around you.
He said, hey guys, can you feel the breeze? And I said, keep your eyes closed because that's the roof about to come off. I just remember telling you, hold on to me as much as you can. One wall in particular had started to fall on us. The cinder blocks then started coming down and they were on my arms and I just held them as tight as I could. They were just stacking and stacking on my arms. I wanted to get us out of there. And I remember pushing this entire wall off and just throwing it as hard as I could.
About that, but it's doing terrible damage in that part of the world there.
Back in the girls' bathroom, Robin tried to reassure everybody.
It's almost over! It's almost over!
Mrs. Breton said a prayer over the room and was asking God to put his hand between the storm, and that's when the ceiling fell in.
60 seconds of terror, and then it was gone.
The storm lessened when the girls sat up. Everyone was pretty hysterical.
The danger was over, but the shock had only just begun.
Wow. God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I saw my classroom, and for a minute, my classroom, I wanted to drop down to my knees and sob. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Sam and the boys also made it into the street behind the school.
I just remember being so happy that we were out and we were safe. We've got to get out of here. Me and Benji got out, and a bunch of his classmates. We're looking for help right now, trying to go to the front.
Thankfully, at our school, we were able to get every child who was in the school back to their parents' arms.
A few streets further on from the school, an entire neighborhood was devastated. At a school here, children were to die.
I'm actually lost for words at the moment. I don't even know what to say. I mean, this is the kind of thing that I've only seen, like many of you, on television screens. Because in England, the weather just doesn't really get this bad. But being here for the first time and being at the center of it and seeing where people lost their homes, lost their lives, It actually makes me a little bit short for breath, actually, just taking it all in. Seeing all the debris, the overturned cars, people's personal belongings, people's clothes, their ornaments, which kind of tell a story about them. Who lived there? Did they survive? Did they get out in time?
Gary Wright's house once stood here. It was at the absolute heart of the most intense winds from the tornado.
So Gary, this is your house and your family here?
Yes, it is.
Can we get where you hid?
You bet.
Yeah.
What's left of the kitchen?
Wow.
Pretty much all gone. Wow. Dining room, living room, and den are gone.
Can you remember what you were doing when you heard that there was going to be a tornado?
Watching the news to find out where it was, so we could tell what direction it was going.
Yeah.
If we needed to seek shelter or we were okay. Most of the time, it either goes to our south or goes to our north. 27 years of living here, we've never been hit until this time.
And where did you hide?
We were in this closet.
In there?
Uh-huh. My wife was back here in this corner. You can barely see where she was. She was in that corner. My aunt was buried up underneath in this corner. And I was sitting right across here and ended up getting jostled around and spun around and ended up with my legs outside the door.
Gary, can you remember the moment when the roof came off? Because looking in the closet, at one point, it must have just ripped off and you could see daylight.
I remember debris, insulation, everything falling on our heads. It was about to suck me out of it, and then it was over with that quick.
Did you think you were going to die at any point?
No, no.
Really?
And I figured I was going to be hurt, but that was it. I got hit with a door and some other debris. Then I got hit by a fence cap, just a glancing blow, but I was fine. They were fine, thank goodness. It was just so quick. You don't have time to think about anything. It just boom, and then it's there, it's over.
You've lost quite a lot out of here, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
Talk us through what you can see.
I have a two-man bass boat that's 2 houses down in my neighbor's backyard on the next block.
The gray one?
The gray one. This is my wife's car. It went through the house.
Through the house?
Through the house, and ended up here in the backyard upside down. And then on the other side of the boat down the street, 3 houses, is my shed on the other side. My couch is in the gentleman's living room 4 houses down. It's 27 years of building up to have a house, to have your cars, to have everything you wanted in a matter of 15 seconds. It's over, it's gone, everything.
What's your plan?
We'll rebuild and go on with our lives. That's all you can do. It's just all stuff.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I know you're going to be all right.
Nah, we will. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. But it's just life. It's part of it.
With hundreds of panicking and injured people all over the city, medical facilities were stretched to their limit. But a major hospital was about to be hit. Every year, more than 1,000 twisters tear through the strip of land between the Rockies and the Appalachians, known as Tornado Alley. This is more than the rest of the world put together. This region contains the right ingredients for the most deadly of storms to grow. During spring and summer, warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico collides over the middle United States with cold, dry air from Canada. Warm air pushes up into the heavier cold air above. It condenses and twists as it goes to form a body of rotating cloud, known as a supercell. When a single column of churning cloud drops to the ground, it's touchdown, and a tornado is spawned. But none of this explains exactly why a tornado touched down outside Moore on the 20th of May, or why it quickly intensified into so immense a storm. These are the kinds of questions that Oklahoma tornado specialist Howie Bluestein has spent a lifetime trying to answer.
Why did the tornado touch down here? This is kind of at the start of the 17-mile path that it took.
On Monday, the conditions were absolutely extreme. I've rarely seen them this extreme. The amount of moisture at low levels was tremendous, but it's extremely difficult to say why the storm formed at an exact location. A butterfly flapped its wings in Texas, and there was a tornado in Oklahoma. The atmosphere is very, very, very sensitive to these small, subtle features, and we don't know what those small, subtle features were.
The big question seems to be, why did the storm gather in intensity so quickly? No one seems to know.
We really don't understand that precisely. We need to go out and make more observations, look at more damage surveys, measure winds with Doppler radars, and we also need to do computer experiments with simulated models.
Much of the detailed mechanics of tornado formation remains unknown. The focus of recent tornado science has been on the prediction. Accurate forecasting means earlier warning to people in their path. The warning times this year have been better than ever. Karen Kasiba explained how they were achieved, especially from analysis of wind shear, the varying speed and direction of winds at different altitudes.
What happened here in Moore, Oklahoma was devastating, but it was also a very well forecast severe weather outbreak. So meteorologists were really looking at how the situation was evolving. There's a lot of wind shear, which is the turning of winds with height, so they get faster and they also turn direction. There's a lot of instability, so warm air had a lot of energy to rise, and there was a forcing mechanism. There was a shortwave trough moving in, which got these systems going. So the people of Moore had 16 or so minutes warning, which again is something that we're working on, really trying to get up this warning time so people have enough lead time to move to a shelter or a safe place.
Tornadoes are rated on the enhanced Fujita scale. They're measured by the damage they inflict. A twister with winds of 65 to 85 miles an hour is rated as an EF0, and it can blast lightweight debris through windows. Winds of 166 to 200 miles an hour, and it's rated as an EF4. An EF5 tornado inflicts levels of devastation almost beyond comprehension. Only 1% of tornadoes reach the top of the scale, but the storm that was tearing through Moore was one of them. By 3:25, it was bearing down on Moore Medical Center. Hundreds of people from the surrounding streets had run to take shelter there. There was a woman in labor in an upstairs suite. The doctor in charge that day was Nick Stremble.
I mean, there was no question in my mind that the hospital was going to get hit at that point. I mean, you could see it. There's several different sections of the building, all of them being in the centermost part of the building that are considered the safe areas, one of them being the cafeteria. The first thing we did was to secure the safety of the patients that were in the emergency department to start with. So I ran upstairs and downstairs and just kind of all over, just to help coordinate getting everybody to where they needed to be.
The labor ward was upstairs, and one woman was too close to giving birth to be moved.
We made the decision, okay, you can be on backup power for as long as possible. We need to get every blanket that we can in this section of the department and just pad the hell out of her, and that's what we did, and I left them to it. I immediately went to the hallway, in the safe zone, got behind the fire doors. By that point, you could already feel the pressure that was pushing on the doors. The door that was next to mine got sucked open, and at that point, the door kind of pushed me against the wall and pinned me there. I had this perspective of down, just looking straight down the hallway and just saw the folks kind of tumbling down the hallway. I mean, the wind was just so incredible. There was, debris flying down the hallway. There's probably about 30 people in that hall, and everybody kind of ended up in a pile at the end of the hall.
Amazingly, all of the patients and the 200 people from the surrounding street survived with only cuts and bruises. Shayla Taylor, the woman in labour, was taken as fast as possible to another hospital. Now she's home with her new son, Braden.
Shayla, back to the hospital.
The nurses came in and said that they were going to move me to the OR because there were no windows.
What was it? The tornado was overhead.
The floor started shaking as if you were in like an earthquake. I look up at the ceiling and the ceiling's shaking and you can see the tiles moving and they start to fall and then insulation starts to fall out of the ceiling. And then all of a sudden you hear and other stuff hitting the walls. By then, you know, once I saw the insulation start to fall, I closed my eyes and turned my head sideways. And I was just holding on to the nurse's hands, and we were all just praying.
And how scared were you?
I couldn't move, so that's all we knew to do was just sit there and pray that we made it out safely.
What was the first thing that you remember seeing when the tornado had gone through?
I opened my eyes, and I could actually see outside. The tornado had actually sucked the wall off, and I'm looking at the interstate, and I can see the movie theater, which was across the street. My son was born. He was healthy. Even though I ended up having to have a C-section, that wasn't the worst part of my day.
We've seen the devastation on the ground, but the only way to get a true sense of the scale of the damage that was caused by the tornado is to see it from the air.
Moore's population of 59,000 was hit by a 1.3-mile-wide monster with wind speeds of over 200 miles an hour.
2,400 homes destroyed and 13,000 damaged.
Among many buildings completely flattened was the town bowling alley. They found bowling balls splintered in the parking lot. The students and teachers at Briarwood Elementary School had a miraculous escape. But minutes later, the super tornado was powering towards a second school, Plaza Towers Elementary. How far could their luck hold?
Oh my God!
3:21 p.m. First grade teacher Karen Marinelli was sheltering terrified students in her classroom. With no underground storm shelter, they were now in terrible danger.
I laid over the 3 students and kind of butterflied myself where my elbows and arms were over them, but I was also covering my head too.
Teacher and parent Anna Canaday ran for cover in a neighboring classroom.
The kindergarten teacher, Miss Simons, had as many as she could hold, and I just got on top of the rest of them, including my daughter, and we just held on and we prayed out loud.
And right after that, glass started breaking, and that's when I knew, like, this is gonna get... It just sounded like a train was just riding right through our building. It was horribly loud. It got really, really dark.
And we just kept telling them it was gonna be okay, it was gonna be okay.
The 200-mile-an-hour wind barreled through the school. The roof tore off, walls collapsed. Children and teachers were exposed to the super tornado's fury.
Then something really, really heavy crashed down on me. I didn't know what it was. It immediately took my breath away. It just landed on my lower back all the way down to my legs, and it just kind of smashed my pelvis down into the ground and my legs too.
Karen's husband, Dominic, was 15 miles south in Norman as the horror unfolded at the school.
She started sending texts, and what she was saying, that she was scared. After that, I couldn't get through to her at all.
I couldn't move. I couldn't move at all. It hurt, and I was scared to death for these little kids.
We were covered in dirt and brick and block.
It seemed to me like it lasted forever, and I knew the next blow, you know, was going to be on our heads, and we were going to be gone. Then all of a sudden, it was just over, and then all you could hear was screaming.
When I stood up and was looking around after the kids had got out, there was like 3 cars in my classroom alone. I don't know what to say. I can't believe we lived through it.
I feel very lucky to be alive.
There were emotional scenes as families were reunited, but there were some who didn't make it. At Plaza Towers, a super tornado took the lives of 7 children. Police Sergeant Jeremy Lewis surveyed the damage.
Down here is the main hallway of the school. There's classrooms on each side. The classrooms on the north's gone. There were actually kids in the hallway as you turn right. At the last second, the teacher grabbed them, took them into a bathroom, which is down there. The hallway they were in is now gone.
He has worked in the community for 12 years and came here to give talks to the students.
The students in all of these classrooms went to the end of this hallway down here. They took shelter in this area here. The teachers that were pinned by this wall, fell in. There was also a vehicle that came in on the wall. There's only 3 rooms left in the main area of the school, the interior part of the school, that still have any roof left. There was a lot of debris that came through the windows.
The complex and apparently random nature of destruction in the eye of a tornado, even within one building, is baffling and eerie.
There's areas that don't have roofs or anything where there's still papers on the shelves. I don't know that we'll ever understand that.
"39 minutes after it had begun, the brutal energy of the super tornado that had ripped through the city of Moore finally subsided.
It looks like this is going to end just about 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles west of Lake Draper.
At 3:33, 4.8 miles east of the city boundary, it had torn through roads and farms and neighborhoods for 17 miles. Its trail of destruction mysterious, one house intact, next door obliterated. Unless you had a storm shelter, it was a desperate gamble. Tiffany Casper had been at home with her 2 children when the tornado struck. They had no storm shelter, and her husband Randall was at work on the other side of town.
And you were at work?
I was at work driving home I was trying to get here in time to pick them up and try to drive out of it, but I never made it before the storm hit. I was driving in people's yards. There was trees down. I was just driving over trees and branches. I got about a half a mile down this road, and then there was power lines down, so I couldn't get any further. And so I just got out of my car and started running. And I ran past the school where the house was on fire, and I was running. You know, once you started seeing to where, oh man, my house was worse. The worst part, you know, your heart sinks in your throat. And
what did you think?
I thought I was gonna have to dig my family out of the rubble. So when I ran around the corner, I saw him, and I knew everything's all right. And then I was just trying to help other people get out if I needed to dig them out.
That must have been a moment of relief when you got on the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my elbow.
So Tiff, I mean, you guys were at home. Randy was trying to get to you guys.
Yeah, she was actually sleeping through it. I had to wake her up to take her across the street.
So you guys were across the road with the neighbors?
Yeah, with Connie and the
And with a whole bunch of children?
Yeah, it's five babies under the age of 3. Mm-hmm.
What was it like? I mean, what happened when the storm came over?
It was kind of like standing behind an airplane when it starts its motor up, because you can't really breathe. There's just the compression on your chest of trying to catch a breath, you know.
Where did you hide?
We was just in a first bedroom closet.
And was it easy to get out of the property once it?
No, I don't even know how I got out, to tell you the truth. I just know I was hitting and kicking stuff as hard as I could. Got bruises all up and down me. None of us could make a call or text or anything, so, which made us more frantic.
I was just happy that they were still there, and I just couldn't believe that there was no injuries. I didn't have to take them to the hospital or anything. And I looked around and I was like, I don't know how anybody could have survived at all.
It's been estimated that there's 150,000 tons of debris left behind in Moore. If you piled it all onto a tennis court, it would stand nearly 2 miles high.
It doesn't matter what way you look, left, right, over there, behind me, it's just total and utter devastation. It looks like something that you'd see in a movie.
In the days following the 20th of May, the American Red Cross sent in over 1,000 volunteers and provided shelter and supplies to 4,000 households made homeless. They served nearly 250,000 meals to survivors, emergency teams, and volunteers.
But I need to find the baby's clothes and stuff. I don't have an axe or a crowbar.
Mo was one of those whose home was completely destroyed. Volunteers from Mexico were among those helping search for his possessions in the ruins.
How you doing? So what's your name?
Mo.
Mo.
Yes, sir.
Did you live here?
Yes, I did. This is my family's home.
Were you in the house at the time when it happened?
No, thank God. I was at work, and my family heard the sirens and watched the news, and they were able to escape. I walked 5 miles to get to my home on Monday evening, and my sister and my brother just looked at me and said, "Welcome home." And we all cried together, didn't know what to say or what to do or talk to each other. We were all in shock. All the furniture is destroyed. We're finding few memories. If it's a piece of paper that has somebody's name on it, all we can do is smile. Hey, look what I found. If we find a dish that isn't broken, we're happy to know that we can have a plate to eat off of. I was talking to somebody yesterday. I said, you know, a lot of people in the world don't realize the value of a toothbrush because we didn't have one. And you go to the local stores to buy one and they're all gone because other people don't even have a toothbrush. No food, no water, no shelter. It's tough to swallow, you know?
So you've lost everything?
Yeah. No problem. This is the doorway to my room.
The light switch and everything?
There's the light switch. Over there, where we have already cleared out, was a window. And right next to it was a picture of my mother who passed away in December of cancer. And somehow, I don't know how, but that wall literally just fell in. And I picked the wall up and I was looking for my mom because that's all I have of her. And her picture is unharmed. No, not a scratch in the glass, no chip. And I raised it up to the sky and I just wept. It's tough. It's just hard to talk about. Every day it's like walking into a funeral ceremony. It's the way we feel. We feel like something died of us. Our home, it died.
If you look at a climatological map of the frequency of occurrence of tornadoes, this time of the year, you'll find there's a bullseye centered right over the Oklahoma City area. There may never be a tornado in more, another 20 years. There could be one 1 mile to the north, 1 mile to the south, 10 miles to the north, 10 miles to the south.
It was a chilling observation. This city has been hit much more often than expected. In 1999, 2003, and 2013. Each time, it was a massive EF5 tornado. It remains one of the most vulnerable cities on Earth, its residents at the mercy of incalculable odds.
This is the end of the story for me, but it's not for the people of Oklahoma. What I've discovered since I've been here is a weather phenomenon that's hit this city
3 times in 14 years, and still it keeps the scientists guessing. The scale of the destruction, it's just too much to comprehend. Personally, I don't think I could risk living here. The people I've met here have made a lasting impression. They've lost everything, and still they refuse to be beaten by this tornado. Incredibly, less than 2 weeks after the 20th of May touchdown, 3 more tornadoes struck 4 miles from the city of Moore, killing 7 adults and 2 children. The storm chasers were out again, pushing their luck even further.
That's the most crazy multi-vortex action I've ever seen. Very violent. Very violent. You see the large tornado now?
But this time, I was watching with changed eyes. Life and death in the eye of the storm is still so far beyond science, it seems a matter of luck.
Fred, if you don't look down, we're gonna die!
There's nothing we can do except try to predict more accurately and get residents out of harm's way. But I couldn't watch awesome natural giant without remembering the people of Moore I had met.
Coming up, 7 people, 7 different missions unfolding across the... Channel 4 has been there every step of the way. Join Peter Snow as it happens next. And at 10, plenty of theories but no arrests. Why were a British family gunned down in broad daylight? The Alps murders.